Murray River continues to change as we travel down. As we come into South Australia, the cliffs that the Murray is so famous for are now starting to come into views.
Right,
South
Danny.
Australia, New South Wales, we've made it.
The border,
642k,
648,
648k,
and there's the border sign.
so we're officially in South Australia.
Cheers.
According to that sign, and there's another sign. And I think there's another one down the river because the borders are actually mistaken.
We weren't sure whether Customs House would be open or closed or if it had petrol or not. We catered our supplies to get us the whole way through from Wentworth to Renmark, but we were lucky enough there was petrol at Customs House. Another great day. Cheers. Day 26 of our mighty Murray River trip. This is day 15 that Guy has spent with me, and this will be his last day. Now, without Guy, this YouTube video would have never happened, because where I could put the trip together, where I could design the boat, where I could do the mechanical stuff, the IT stuff is not me. So thanks for coming along, Guy, and thanks for putting the YouTube videos together that you can all enjoy. The Renmark Hotel was built in 1897, and to visit it is well worthwhile. On the first floor there is a museum that holds a lot of history of what has happened with this building, and you will find very interesting.
So that's it. Time for me to leave Danny to continue his mighty Murray adventure without me.
I joined on day 12 and travelled for the next 14 days. I'm sad to go, but excited for Danny for the rest of his trip. Cheers and many thanks.
Cheers, Mr. Danny. Good on ya.
The peace and quiet, being on my own again. It's actually enjoyable on your own, just to soak in the atmosphere that you find every day. But it's also a whole lot of fun to have the people who have come along that have actually made the trip what it has been. Loxton's another good sized town on the river. At Loxton you've also got the historic village, which is well worth a visit, and you can spend quite a few hours there. I've seen it previously and didn't stop, hence there's only one photo of it, but well worth the time if you set your times correctly. The town of Maruk is right beside the river and has fuel literally 100 metres from the boat ramp, another handy place for supplies. Cobdogla is an interesting town to stop at. You enter via a path between willow trees. There is an interesting museum there with what's called a Humphrey pump. It's a different type of pump and it was used to irrigate the area. The museum is closed but still worth walking past. Kingston-on-Murray had no shops at all that were open. The caravan park is currently being rebuilt and will have a shop when it is finished. The Overland Corner Hotel, I would call it a must-see on the Murray trip. The hotel was built in 1856. I believe it's the oldest hotel in South Australia. It's actually closed Mondays and Tuesdays, and again, this comes back to your timing. I was extremely fortunate. It's about a kilometre walk from the river, quite a hot day. It was a Tuesday. I wandered up there, and to my surprise, it was open. Lucky enough, the owner was having a bus tour come through, so he was open for that event. The bus tour that came through, he gave him a talk on the history of the hotel, of why it was built, when it was built, and the things that happened in there. It had been a police station, it had been a post office, it had been all sorts of things. The hotel was made from limestone, and the limestone quarry is directly behind the hotel, so you can walk through there and actually see where the materials came from. So an absolute must-do to see this when you do your trip. The cliffs in South Australia are absolutely stunning. They vary in height and the water in front of them varies in depth. They are huge. The bird life around the cliffs is incredible. One of the errors that I made on the trip was only having my iPhone, not having a decent camera with a telephoto lens, just to show the bird life and the way they nest and utilise these cliffs. I met a lovely couple on the river who were renovating this paddle steamer. This boat was damaged. It was originally built in 2020. So not all paddle boats, as you see, are old. Some of them are actually fairly new and have been designed and built to look as they did in the earlier days. As said earlier, the cliffs in South Australia are absolutely amazing. And one thing I'd get people to think about, if you're in South Australia and you're in that area and you can hire a boat, go to a half day or a day trip and have a look at them. There's something that you've never seen before. You will enjoy it. Between Cadell and Morgan, as you're coming towards Morgan, you'll come past a pumping station that supplies the water towards Whyalla. This is a big pumping station, and as I've said earlier, the amount of water that comes out of this Murray River is absolutely boggling. Morgan, another great town. There's a few good museums to see here, and there's even 2 pubs side by side, so you can do a pub crawl. The best meal I've had on the whole trip was actually at the service station at Morgan. They do $12 feed nights, they do snitty nights, they do pizza nights, they do steak nights. So I actually had a really good snitty for $12 and a $5 beer. So Morgan, if you're stopping there, don't be going to a pub for a meal, go to a service station. Be surprised. The amount of devastation to boats and buildings that I saw in the South Australian end of the Murray River from the 22-23 floods was quite large. You can see by some of the houseboats washed up into the banks, in between the trees, well away from the water, just how high and devastating that water was. The amount of holiday shacks that were gutted or had to be gutted as a result of these floods was just you'd have to see to believe. Hooray, lock 1, the last lock in the river. Well, the locks. I know when I came to the first one, I was thinking, oh, this could be interesting. But truth be told, they're actually pretty easy to go through. The lock masters make it easy as well for you. So when you do come to one, don't worry. I'm sure you probably will, but don't worry. Swan Reach Hotel is worth a visit, just up the cliff a little bit from the barge crossing. There's free camping on the opposite side from the pub, and the pub itself does great meals and great ice cold beers. The birds make nests in the holes on the cliff, and the cliff is absolutely amazing. Finally made it to Mannum. Mannum, I believe, is a home of the Murray Princess. The Murray Princess is a huge reproduction paddle steamer that's almost like a cruise ship and does 3-day cruises, 7-day cruises I believe, but does quite big cruises up and down the river. Quite a popular thing for people to do, and I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun to do too, a luxurious way of seeing the river. Also at Mannum, I had the opportunity to camp with Cheryl and Dave again, and it was another good thing to catch up with them as they've been following me along this journey. I reached Murray Bridge on the Saturday and I couldn't cross Lake Alexandrina till the Tuesday due to the wind conditions, as it can be quite a treacherous lake with the wind up. So I took the opportunity to shoot back to Melbourne, grab the car and trailer ready to be retrieved at the end of a trip at Goolwa. You meet all sorts of amazing people on a trip like this, people who are willing to go out of their way and help you, help complete strangers. I met Jimmy on the river just by talking to his friend on Facebook via my daily blogs. Jimmy offered to store my boat whilst I went to Melbourne to collect the trailer and car, and then he joined me for the rest of the trip. Up early after a good night at the Wellington Hotel with my new mate Jimmy, ventured out ready to cross Lake Alexandrina. We finished the Murray River and then suddenly out into a lake, and there was a fog. Thump. Stop. Couldn't go any further. Sat round and floated for an hour waiting for the fog to lift so we could see where to go.
yellow boat. Woohoo, I spotted him. I wonder if he spotted us.
A trip like this isn't possible without the help of many friends and family, and just a short list of the people who have made this trip so successful for me. Catching up with my friend Monty from Corowa, a fellow I know from the Eildon Ski Club, great to catch up with him. Burge, who joined me in his little yellow boat, what an adventure we had with him. A couple of quiet beers here and there. My sister and brother-in-law John Ray, who helped me know him from the start to the finish. My cousin and wife Rob and Donna, again, who have helped me from start to finish. Karina with the houseboat, who hosted us for a couple of nights, absolutely fantastic at Deep Creek Marina. Macca and Val from Echuca, who helped collect Guy and take him to Burren to join the trip. My friend Guy from Queensland. Dave and Cheryl, the Aussie travellers, who followed me along the river and caught up with me a number of times. Wayne from Nia West, a fellow I used to live next to, hadn't seen for years, great to catch up. The opportunity to meet Jimmy, one of the many wonderful people on the river who joined me for a couple of days. Ray from Two Wells, a fellow I did my apprenticeship with 40 years ago, came out of his way to say good day. What a thrill. My sister and brother-in-law Carol and Craig from Nairn, they were a great help too. Put me up, helped me with the car, helped me get me to and from the airport. And then of course my lovely wife and family who supported the whole adventure, who I couldn't have done without them. Okay, this is the mouth of the Murray River. 2,218 kilometres in my little boat. I can actually now say I've completed the Murray River from the Hume Weir, 30 kilometres above Albury, all the way to the ocean. What an adventure.